Born on September 20th, 1816, as one of 10 children to Samuel Alger and Clarissa Hancock Alger, Fanny provided household help in the Smith household in Kirtland, Ohio. Not much is known about this union, as none of the participants elaborated on the topic. What we do have is a collection of late and second-hand reminiscences that may or may not give us clues as to what transpired. Mary Elizabeth Leitner, a plural wife of the prophet, recalled in 1905 Joseph's words relating how an angel appeared to him in 1834, commanding him to restore the practice of polygamy. The angel came to me 3 times between the years of 1834 and 1842 and said I was to obey that principle. This directive may have prompted Joseph to enter a plural marriage sometime thereafter. Benjamin F. Johnson, a close friend of Joseph Smith beginning in the Kirtland period, recalled the circumstances in 1903. And now as to your question, how early did the prophet Joseph practice polygamy? In 1835 at Kirtland, I learned from my sister's husband, Lyman R. Sherman, who was close to the prophet and received it from him, that the ancient order of plural marriage was again to be practiced by the church. This at the time did not impress my mind deeply, although there lived then with his family, the prophet's, a neighbor's daughter, Fanny Alger, a very nice and comely young woman about my own age, toward whom not only myself but everyone seemed partial for the amiability of her character, and it was whispered even then that Joseph loved her. According to Mosiah Hancock, writing in 1896, Joseph did not approach Fanny directly. Rather, he enlisted Levi Hancock, the brother-in-law of Fanny's father, to serve as an intermediary. Levi first approached Samuel Alger, Fanny's father. "Samuel, the prophet Joseph loves your daughter Fanny and wishes her for a wife. What say you?" "Uncle Sam says, go and talk to the old woman," Levi's sister and Fanny's mother, "about it. 'Twill be as she says." Father goes to his sister and says, "Clarissa, brother Joseph, the prophet of the Most High God, loves Fanny and wishes her for a wife. What say you?" Said she, "Go and talk to Fanny. It will be all right with me." Father goes to Fanny and said, "Fanny, brother Joseph the prophet loves you and wishes you for a wife. Will you be his wife?" "I will, Levi," said she. Father takes Fanny to Joseph and said, "Brother Joseph, I have been successful in my mission." Father gave her to Joseph, repeating the ceremony as Joseph repeated to him. While some authors have alleged that this relationship was not an actual marriage, Mosiah Hancock states that a ceremony was performed, making the relationship a plural matrimony from a religious perspective. In addition, important new evidence supports that Fanny was a plural wife of Joseph Smith. In 2009, Don Bradley discovered a folder at the Church History Library containing Andrew Jensen's research notes, a folder that no previous polygamy investigator had viewed. Jensen used those notes to write his 1887 article published in The Historical Record, entitled Plural Marriage. In preparation for that article, Jensen interviewed several Nauvoo polygamists still living, including Joseph's plural wives Melissa Lott and Eliza R. Snow. He recorded that Eliza was well acquainted with her, Fanny Alger, as she had lived with the prophet at the time. Eliza's proximity to the events is important because in 1886 she personally wrote Fanny's name on a list of Joseph Smith's wives, affirming the relationship was a marriage. Things didn't go well for Joseph and Fanny. In an 1872 letter from William McClellan to Joseph Smith III, McClellan recalled details of an 1847 conversation with Emma Smith, where Emma acknowledged that in the spring of 1836 she missed Joseph and Fanny Alger. She went to the barn and saw him and Fanny in the barn together alone. She looked through a crack and saw the transaction. She told me the story was verily true. What Emma witnessed is not specific. Whether it was the plural marriage ceremony, an exchange of affection, or even sexual relations, we're not told. Regardless, it is obvious Emma did not believe the ceremony was valid and concluded the relationship was adulterous. Ironically, Oliver Cowdery, who Joseph summoned to defuse the situation, sided with Emma, discontinuing the validity of the polygamous marriage and later referring to it as a dirty, nasty, filthy scrape. Oliver's vitriol may have been intensified due to his frustrations from recent leadership changes that diminished his overall importance. As a consequence of the discovery, Emma immediately turned Fanny out of the house. Subsequently, both women were severely traumatized and Oliver Cowdery alienated. In addition, rumors of adultery quietly spread among the saints, although they were never loud enough to reach the local media. The first mention of the relationship in any known manuscript occurred in January of 1838. No contemporaneous documentation of the association has been found. The evidence is inconclusive regarding the question of whether the Joseph Smith and Fanny Alger plural union included conjugal relations. The Alger family left for Missouri in September 1836, accompanied by Fanny. 2 months later, in Wayne County, Indiana, she married non-member Solomon Custer. The clerk recorded, Dublin, November 16, 1836. This day married by me, Levi Eastridge, a justice of the peace for Wayne County and state of Indiana, Mr. Solomon Custer, and Miss Fanny Alger, both of this town. Benjamin Johnson reported this marriage, but misdates it by more than a year. Soon after the prophet's flight in the winter of 1837 and 1838, actually January 1838, the Alger family left for the West, and stopping in Indiana for a time, Fanny soon married one of the citizens there. Todd Compton comments, one can only speculate on Fanny's motives for marrying a non-Mormon after a courtship that could have only been a matter of weeks. Perhaps she felt that Smith had abandoned her after Emma ejected her from the household. It is also possible that she simply fell in love with Solomon, who, unlike Smith, was her own age, 19. Fanny stayed in Wayne County and raised a large family. She apparently joined the Universalist Church in 1874 and remained a member until her death in 1889. Her obituary stated, she, Fanny Alger, joined the Universalist Church on the evening of the 10th of October, 1874, and until her last held to that belief. She passed away peacefully and resignedly, with an abiding faith in the justice and love of an all-powerful and supreme being, and with joy in the full belief that she would meet with dear ones gone before. Having fulfilled the duties of life with a conscientious regard for the welfare and happiness of those who were compelled to lean on her in her middle and early life, she passed away fully trusting that the welcome applauded summons, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter thou into the joy of the Lord," would greet her on the other side. Funeral services were held at the Universalist Church in Dublin, Indiana, on Sabbath morning, December 1st, 1889, Reverend P.S. Cook and C.T. Swain officiating. Late in life, she reportedly rebuffed questions about her relationship with Joseph Smith. "That is all a matter of my own, and I have nothing to communicate." Although he does not provide a source for his declaration, according to Benjamin Johnson, she did not turn from the church nor from her friendship for the prophet while she lived.